Hi there, and welcome to the demo of the Tyto Web application. I'm going to assume that you've already been set up with an account, and we're now going to proceed to logging in. So navigate to trytyto.com and click on Therapist Login in the top right corner. If this is your first time logging in, you're going to have to reset your password. This is to ensure that we don't know the password you're using. To do this, simply type your email address into the text box at the bottom, and then click on Reset Password. At this point, we'll send you an email with a unique link that will allow you to change your password. You're now ready to actually log in. So then you just simply fill in your details. This brings you to your dashboard. Your dashboard serves two primary purposes. One is to see the clients you've already got, and the second is to add new clients. Now I also quickly just want to draw your attention to the little question marks you'll find spread out throughout the website, which give you tips on how to use the site. Now, to add a client, you simply fill in the details. So their first name, last, their email address, and their condition. So for example, OCD. Then when you select Add Client, you simply need to verify your identity by logging in again. So now you can see that this client has already been added. Now we're going to click one of our clients to see what the details look like. The page that now loads is the page that shows all the details for your client, and we start at the Trends tab. This tab shows all long-term trends for your client, and when a client is new, this tab will obviously be empty, but that's okay. So let's jump right in and start adding tasks for our clients to complete. You do this by clicking on the Add Week tab. When you come to this tab, the first thing you see at the top is the existing recurring questions. A recurring question is a question that is repeating from the week before to ensure that we can observe long-term trends. And questions set to recurring will automatically appear here and be added to the next week, unless you choose to explicitly remove one of them. So, next we're going to want to add a question. To add questions, we've created three different types: numerical, text, and task. Numerical, the types of questions determine the input that the user will get to give the answers. So numerical will give a slider that the user can slide between the values you set using the scale. So for example, how is your stress level today? They'd be able to select between 0 and 10. A text question will simply give a text box for the user to type into. So let's add one of these. And we're going to leave this one set to recurring. So we're just going to add this question by clicking the Add Item to Next Week. So now you can see this question is ready to go. But if you want to add more, you can again select them by type. So now I'll add a task type. A task-based question is one where the user will simply say whether they have or have not done a task. So let's add one of these as well. And again, we'll leave this one to set to recurring, although you could obviously turn this off if you chose to do so. Now that we've got all the questions we want, the last thing we have to do is determine the weekly settings. These settings determine how often we will use your client's mobile app to remind them to fill in the questions. So first you select which days you want them to be reminded, and in this case we want them to be reminded every day, so we'll leave the defaults, and the frequency with which they're reminded on every one of those days. The default is 2, but in this case let's turn it up to 3. Now the last thing you've got to do is actually submit the week. A pop-up will quickly come up to remind you that currently you can't change questions once they've been added, and as long as you're okay with this, you can just click OK. Success. The next week has been submitted successfully. So now your client can start responding to questions. Now we can also quickly look at the All Data tab. Here you can see all questions that have been asked of your client in the past, and you can also look at any responses that have been given by simply clicking on a question And there you see the answers in order and the time when they were given. Also, do note that the questions we just added are already here. Now, this is all the details you can see for an individual client. To go back, you can simply click on Back to Clients, and we can now select another client if we chose to do so. This brings us to the end of this demo, but before I go, I'd quickly like to draw your attention to the Give Feedback button. This button allows you to give us feedback directly, whether it's something that doesn't work, a new feature you'd like, or just a thought you want to send our way. We're happy to read them all and appreciate your feedback a lot. Thanks so much.